Are you ready to be in the spotlight? Are you ready to share your story with the world? Well, Snails with No Shells is where you need to be. Available on all digital platforms, Facebook, and YouTube. Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. Where did we go wrong? We were doing so well. Thank you, Own It Magazine, for being the sponsor of this episode of Snails with No Shells. Greetings, beautiful ones. I am MsBJ Martin, and this is Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. Be a slug for a little while. It's okay. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite my amazingly, just beautiful, accomplished guest. Oh, wait till you guys meet her. Bring her to the stage.
Hey.
Tiffany Williams-Parra. How you say it?
Parra.
Yes. Thank you for joining me on Snails and No Shells.
Thank you for having me, Miss B.
Yes. Now let's get into it. I told you I like the energy. Hey, we ready. We are ready. All right. So Tiffany, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Long Beach, California, and pretty much have been in California for 40 some odd years. Okay. I don't go too many places. So yeah, I love me some Cali. I'm a Cali girl. Inside, out, it just, yeah. I'm gonna tell you that show on the weekend. Yeah. That that Super Bowl show.
Yeah.
That was Cali. Okay, I'm just gonna say that was all my Long Beach peeps. Okay.
Ooh, that
was fire. That was fire. So,
man, I was dancing the whole time.
Yeah,
the whole time. That was classic. Going in the history books.
Yes,
it's just yes, y'all represent it for real.
That's right.
You can't even say nothing about that.
No.
Yes, and congratulations to the football team too. It was a good game, very good game.
They deserved that was a good game. I'm not even a football fan, and I had to seriously sit down for a second. Like, okay, let me just.
I understand. I do. The energy was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Cool beans. So what was it like growing up in Long Beach? What was it
like?
I'll
tell you, I was born in Long Beach. I ended up moving to Orange County at a young age. So I went to La Palma, which is it's right by Disneyland. So like Anaheim, that area there. And then I ended up moving out to the Inland Empire, what we call the Inland Empire, which is Chino, which is kind of our farmland. And that's really where I've spent most of my life, is here in the suburbs. I'm in Ontario, California now. When I moved here, we were cow country. I am a cowgirl. I'm going to tell you that now. I may not look like it, but I am a cowgirl. I have raised all the different animals that you can name on the farm: cows, sheep, pigs, and whatnot. I've raised it. And I just love being here. It was wonderful growing up here, really. It was right outside of LA, so you didn't have, some of the trouble areas and things that you have, in the city. We had more, animals, more of, being able to have that nature and things like that. And I'm very much the nature person. So I really did love, my childhood and all the different things that have been around me. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. All right. Now, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I told you I was into animals. So everybody thought I was going to be a vet. I was, as a child, I remember my mother and father telling me that I would stand out in the backyard and there would be this butterfly that would come and land on my nose. And it would do that. It did that for a while. Butterflies don't live forever. So it did that for a while, and a long enough time for my parents to really take notice, because every day when I would come home, I would book it out to the backyard so I could see, and I would just stand in the middle of the yard and just, okay. And I'm thinking about the butterfly, and I'm waiting for it. And it would just come and land on my nose.
Manifesting that thing on butterfly.
So I would bring home snakes. I was fearless. Okay. I would bring home, you name it. My mother's like, get the heck out of my house. So, growing up, I rode horses. I broke horses. That was one of my first jobs, was actually picking up poo first in the stables. And then I've been riding horses since I was about 5. So, I was just out there with that. So everybody thought, she's either going to be a vet, she's going to be something like a rancher, something on with horses. She's going to be something like that. No. I did touch it for a little while. I was an animal control officer for about 5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was a wonderful job. It really was, helping the animals get off the street, taking them from, neglectful areas and things like that. But there is also a very sad side of the job, which is having to euthanize animals. And that's about 50% of the job, or at least it was when I was there. So, it really kind of got to me after a while, and I had to leave that job and, got into, I got into electronics for a while. I was in cellular when I was in cellular when it was Air Touch Cellular back in the day before they were Verizon. So that,
okay.
Really. So I've kind of been all over the place with the things that I've done, but I've always been a people person. So that, I think, has really been the common denominator of, what I do today as a coach. And just, as also an editor-in-chief, is, just meeting people all the time.
Okay. And then I got so excited. I didn't even properly introduce you to.
That's okay.
We can't rewind, guys, but I'm going to go back. Wait a minute. We got so excited. That California energy. I couldn't help it, you guys. I got caught up. You go to Cali, that's what happened. You get caught up. Those waves from that ocean, they will pull you to the ocean. I've seen it. Will pull you to the ocean. Okay, here we go. Tiffany is a certified life coach, fitness trainer, best-selling author, editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine. All right. We good now. We are good. We caught up.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so you want to be a veterinarian. You want to do a bunch of other things, which is so cool. So now let's get into how did you get into fitness training? You went from animals to electronics to a few other jobs. Now you got into fitness training. So how did you get into that?
Well, I was in human resources for about 15 years.
See,
So,
another
yeah, right. I've been all over the place. I'm telling you, MsBJ, you name it. My husband tells me I'm a jack of all trades, and really I am. So, but yeah, with fitness, back in 2008, I was a HR manager at a company. I was driving, 2.5 hours one way commuting to work. It was just really a stressful situation. I was in a very toxic relationship and wound up being in the worst health of my life. I was told I was going to die at a annual checkup. My doctor said, you know what, if you don't make some changes, you are going to die. And I had a 5-year-old son. I'm like, oh, wait, what you mean I'm going to die? I can't go anywhere. There's no way. I mean, there's no way. And mom has to be here. I mean, I had help. I mean, my mother's wonderful and has always been helpful, but I had to be here. I'm mom. So I just got myself in action. I mean, I had a meltdown. I'm not even going to lie. When I left that doctor's office, I was crying. I'm screaming in the car. I'm cussing out God at the moment. It's like, ooh, because I was that angry, and then I'm mad at myself. Then I was, depressed for a minute. Like, what am I going to do? And, I just really I had to just pray about it because I was in a bad spot. I mean, everything about my life was really, it was really just in a bad spot. So as I prayed, as I started kind of, reading my Bible, starting to get into some of these self-help groups, I started looking into like Lisa Nichols and, reading Bob Proctor and, all the different, people out there that help you to change your mindset. And it really started to help me to kind of change mine and say, okay, you have the answers. You had gestational diabetes when you were pregnant. So you know how to eat. I mean, and that diet right there, girl, I'm going to tell you, that diet pissed me off. And ladies out there that are listening right here, if y'all have had it, okay, stick of string cheese, 12 almonds, that's not a meal, okay? That's going to make you mad.
Yes.
So, but I had to deal with that, while I was pregnant. So I reverted back to that and really got into the nutrition aspect of it. I started researching teas and different things that I could do for myself to regulate my blood sugar, to regulate my blood pressure, to cut cholesterol, because those were the 3 things that were just off the charts. I mean, my blood sugar was in the 400s.
And so, what's the normal? I'm not sure about numbers.
Well, your blood sugar should be about 120. Okay. I mean 115. Okay. So yeah, when you're looking at 400s, that's a stroke. That's a diabetic stroke. It could definitely. And then my blood pressure. Our blood pressure should be 120 over 80. My doctor says 115 over 75. Keep it very, very low. But my blood pressure was 155 over 100. And that was kind of the normal. Every time I would take it, if it was, it would be maybe 156, 99. But it was always around that number. And that right there also, I mean, it horrified me because my father had died of a heart attack a few years prior to this. And I found my father. When my father passed, my father and I were very close. So I knew something was wrong, when it happened. And I went to visit him, thinking, okay, maybe there's something going on with dad. Didn't realize I was going to find my dad after having a massive heart attack. But when I'm going through this, I'm thinking about, oh, Lord, that could be me. That's going to find me after a massive heart attack if I don't make some changes.
Right.
So I started walking. A friend of mine said, why don't you, as I walked for a while, then they said, why don't you sign up for a 5K? All right, I'll put some money on the table. I'm a little competitive, so signed up for a 5K. I think it was the Upland Turkey Trot or something like that. And I tell you, as I trained for that, because that's 3 miles, when you I started out with 1 mile, 2 miles, and as I got to that 3 miles, I was like, oh Lord, my knees are hurting, and I'm thinking every excuse in my head, but I just had to just keep going. Something just you have to. It was really my son, and just knowing I have to be here. There's no way I can leave here. So as I started making those changes, in the first 60 days, I had lost almost 30 pounds just from cutting the things that I was eating, because I was eating fast food 3, sometimes 4 times a day. So going to actually eating the way I should and just getting up in action, it really started changing me. Then I had to take a little step further because as I'm changing, I could see myself stepping, hearing that little voice in my head sometimes, this is not going to work. You've dieted before. You've done these. You've been on that roller coaster. Remember when you got down to a size, 8 back in the day? You now look at you now. You're a size 22.
Negative self-talk.
It got me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was really just having to just stay focused. I started putting sticky notes all over the place, like you can do it, and just all these different positive affirmations and whatnot, because that's what I was reading that it worked.
Yes.
That's what Lisa said to do. That's what, all the other like different greats that I was reading about said to do. I hired a business coach. That's what they were saying to do. Because I hired a business coach because I was in corporate and I let everything just get me, So I had to make a lot of decisions. It took me 3 years to lose almost 120 pounds. I changed my whole mindset. I mean, when I first lost 40 pounds, the toxic relationship I was in, he left. And I think it was really because I was finding that confidence to really start speaking up for myself. And I wasn't going to take it regardless of, anything. It was like, nah, like, hold up. And I will tell you, I was a little brutal, for a minute, because I was really feeling myself. So he was
working hard. Yes.
The other,
Yes.
I could really see that I had settled and I shouldn't have even been in that situation in the first place. So it was like, let's clean house, Tiff. Let's go ahead. And that's gone. All right. Well, what about the job? It's a great job, but the commute is horrible. You're not spending any time with your family. You're upset all the time. It's taken, from your mental. So I had to make that change as well.
Wow.
Found a gym buddy, worked out with a gym buddy, still work out with it to this day sometimes. We go hiking sometimes. And she found another gym buddy because we don't go to the same gym anymore.
Okay.
But, I made all the different changes I needed to. And as I started sharing my journey with other people that were having the same type of issues, they started getting results. So I said, okay, you know what? Maybe I should let me go and get my personal training.
Yes.
I went, studied for that, got that, and then I said, let me take it a little bit further because it was the whole life coach thing. It was the whole mindset thing that really fascinated me more than anything else. Because I was an athlete in high school. So, I knew my body could do what it needed to do. I was a shot put discus thrower. I was like,
yes.
So I knew what my body could do. But I didn't know how to be consistent. I didn't know how to just get right in my head, So it was a huge journey. But just sharing helped me to get into wanting to share more. And give my expertise, share my story, because it's not my story. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling with diabetes. It is one of the number one, illnesses in the U.S. today. I am actually doing a show right now. It's an 8-week show with Gene Baker, and it's called Let's Talk Diabetes, to just really educate people on diabetes, tell our story, and bring professionals that are in the industry working, directly with this disease to teach people how, to really be able to either manage it or be able to, not, ever have to worry about getting that at all, just keep that at bay.
Yes. That's amazing. So fitness trainer to life coach. You know what? And everybody that I've interviewed thus far, and I prefer to call these conversations, to be honest, because you're not interviewing for a job. This is just a conversation that we have, But everybody that I've talked to, they've gone through something like detrimental, either life-threatening or just something so detrimental that it just felt like their soul got taken out of them, So I'm like, I feel like it's like God puts you in these situations, and you have your story so that you can have the story, like you said, to share with other people.
Yes.
But you got to go through it to really empathize, right, with people and to be relatable and to really understand what it's like to be here. And your testimony is wow. It's huge because it's not just one thing, it's this and then it's it's a few things. So
Yeah.
honey, you should have knew then. Like you have something, you got a big job ahead of you, so you're not helping animals, but you're helping plenty of people. So
Right. Look, I'm still helping animals. Okay.
yeah,
I'm still
I know.
taking in strays and doing that as well. But I mean, just
Yes.
my journey is where the phoenix came from. I have a huge phoenix across my back because when I lost my first 100 pounds, and I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like tattoos, but I personally love them. Don't have a lot, but just that one. But it really signifies where I came from, those ashes of life,
Yes.
where you really are just buried and feel like I don't know what to do. There's nothing. I mean, have no hope, and be able to just come out of those ashes and be the most strongest, powerful version of yourself.
Yes.
That's why my vision is the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics, because it is rising out of those ashes and becoming the best version of you, physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially, because it all runs hand in hand.
Yes. The rising of the phoenix. Yes. It's a I call it like a spiritual death. That's what I'm saying. That's how it feels.
Yeah, it really does.
You died. It's like it's so deep within, that process of death and rebirth. I love it.
I love it. It's a rebirth of so many things. It was a rebirth of, my body, my mind. It was a rebirth of even the relationships in my life. There was quite a few people that were in my life that are not in my life anymore. And that's because they didn't see they didn't see the journey. It was like, well, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? I had a lot of people telling me that I looked sick when I was losing a lot of weight. And it's like, no, I don't look sick and I don't feel sick. And actually, unless the doctor tells me I'm sick, I think I'm okay.
Right.
Doing what I'm doing. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. You go to family house. Oh, you don't eat anyway. Yes, I do eat. I just eat the portions, and I watch myself. I mean, I'm very good with what I put on my plate. I keep it colorful, and I make sure that I make the right decisions. So it's all about portion control. We don't know about portion control anymore in the USA.
Yes, and that's a trip too, because they're always going to be, I call them distractions. I don't care who it is, family member, friend. Always going to be like little distractions to try to keep you from going up your path,
Right.
And it's not the journey. It's not easy.
Keep loving them and just, hey, you know what? This is my dream. It's not your dream. It doesn't have to be, something that you understand, because you don't have to understand it. And I think at first it bothered me. At first it was like, wow, why do my certain friends or certain family members, why do they not support this? But some family members and friends just don't understand it. They don't really understand the entrepreneurial journey. They don't understand the focus that you have to have on being physically fit and things like that, because it is a lot of work. It is a job. I mean, I feel like being physically fit is my second job. Really, it's my first job. My second job is my coaching, but my first job is keeping myself primed up and proper, because I have to represent what I do.
Yes, because we're gonna be looking at you like, let me see. Yes, and we're listening to you too. Yep. That's true.
You ain't gonna see me out there eating, a big old huge, pile of ice cream, and you ain't gonna catch me on camera doing stuff like, you ain't gonna catch me out there, period, because that's gonna upset my stomach, all that stuff. I am so conscious and in tune with my body. I will cheat. Don't get me wrong. I will cheat. People that know me know I will cheat. But like if I eat a hamburger, I'll eat a protein style burger where it's wrapped up in lettuce. But because that beef is really not good for me, and my body will tell me that the next day, because my stomach is in knots, and I'm just saying, oh man, it was so good though. That food I ate was so good. But do I want to feel like this? Nah, I don't. So it might be 6 months from now that I might do the same thing,
Right.
but it's not going to be every single day,
Right.
because you can't do that to yourself.
Right. Yeah. Who wants to go through that? Oh goodness. Wow. So okay. Let's talk about so the magazine. So
Yeah.
you the editor in chief of the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, and you're author. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about those.
Oh, wow. Well, I this year became a 3-time best-selling author. I started out 2019 in the Queen Boss Rise with my business coach, Erica Steptoe. She really, I'll tell you, her and the women that were in our group coaching, all amazing women, wrote in the book. And I went in there kicking and screaming because I'm like, I'm not a write. What do you mean? I didn't even like English. Like I could write poems, but I don't write. And they believed in me and really helped to, coach me through it. And with every single kick and scream, it was, nah, sis, come on,
Yeah.
And when I was able to tell my story in that and make an impact, it was kind of cool. And I remember our publisher said, we're going to work together again sometime. I don't think so. I'm done. I wrote an anthology. I'm cool. Okay. And we made #1 bestseller with that. So I'm like, oh, I'm real cool. Like we good. Like I put that on my resume, right?
Right.
And then lo and behold, a couple years later, COVID hit. And I created a group called the Girl Powerhouse Network Mastermind. And it was really because I wanted like-minded women to be around me, to help to uplift me and support me. And I wanted to do the same for them, with whatever I could do for them. So it started out with a handful. It's now over 300 worldwide. But when I started meeting the women and really getting to know them and know their stories, I just started asking them, like, hey, you want to write a book? Like, we should do an anthology together because I want people to know the stories, and they need to know your story. So I created the Becoming a Girl Powerhouse anthology with 10 other women, and we launched August 4th. We became #1 bestsellers then. The same week, I was actually in another anthology with Dr. Larry White, Iron Sharpens Irons. That was also an amazing experience. He invited me to do that anthology when I was already in the midst of doing mine. And I said I couldn't do it. I said, I can't do 2 at a time. And he said, yes, you can. I did 3 or 4 during COVID. And I know you can do this, girl. So I was able to get those out there. Both of them actually became #1 bestsellers. So it was August 1st, #1 bestseller with Iron Sharpens Irons. And then mine came out August 4th. So it was a very exciting week. Really just working with the women that were in the Becoming a Girl Powerhouse and getting to know them. They're my sisters forever and ever. I mean, they're just awesome. I would love to see them out in the world even more, doing workshops and things with their stories, because it's so amazing when you can meet women that have gone through so much adversity and being able to just come out of that and be just a powerhouse, out there, being corporate leaders or business owners, entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, just really running things. But they've been through so much. They've been in those ashes just like I have, and they're out here and they're just, so that was a great experience. I'm actually now looking for teen girls to do Becoming a Teen Girl Powerhouse. We're looking to launch that in March. We're looking for teen girls from 13 to 18 that want to tell their stories of adversity, so we can get that out in the world as well. And that's the way I became an author. And with the magazine, I met the amazing Marisa Blodorn in a mastermind group. That was the Future Entrepreneur and Mastermind. It was Dr. Larry's mastermind. She did a workshop, and this woman shined so bright on the screen. I was like, I got to know that sister right there.
Yes.
And I reached out to her, and that's all she wrote. I mean, she told me about the Own It magazine, and I loved her passion. I loved just everything about her. And I said, you know what? I want to be part of this. Started contributing writing for that, doing some fitness tips and things, and, showing some of the products that I use that have really been, very successful in my health journey.
Yes.
And, I kept bringing people in and saying, hey, Marisa, I want you to meet this coach. And hey, Marisa, I
Mhm.
want you to meet this DNA person. Hey, Marisa, I want you to meet this person. And she had to sit me down one day. She says, Tiff, I love you, but why don't you maybe think about doing your own magazine that's geared towards your niche and what you really want to do? And she really explained to me what her publishing platform looked like. And I said, oh, I never thought about that. I mean,
Yes.
you know, and she gave me all the tools that I needed to be successful as an editor-in-chief. And I'm just continuing to run. I mean, it's like we're what is it, like the four people on the track, we're doing that 440 relay. It's like, okay, stick. Okay, hey, and then we gonna just do it again. Like, okay, Marisa, I'm ready for that stick again. Like, let's get it. And I love it. I mean, I never imagined myself doing this, but meeting all the people, I imagine myself always meeting people, and I always dreamed, I think, about probably wanting to just have a job where I could meet people all day, every day. And now that's all I do. And I get to really get to have authentic conversations with people.
Yes.
I get to really see their, passion. And if it's in alignment with the magazine, let's bring them on in so we can elevate their business.
Yes.
I've got a young lady that's in the magazine. She was one of my employees back in the day when I was in cellular. We worked in a store together, and she's amazing. She's got a Coco's Cookies fashion. And she's even said, you know what, since I've been in the magazine, I see my sales going up. And I'm so proud of her for just getting out there and stepping up and doing her business. And for you to say, hey, you know what? She actually had faith in what I'm doing. And now we're able to help elevate each other.
Yes, that's what it's all about.
It's just amazing. So I love just these relationships. And
Yes, and I love it too. And that's why when people talk about anthologies, I'm like, if you can get in one, do it.
Yes.
I was in an anthology with Vanessa Blackwell. She was a visionary for finding joy in the journey. And here I am through Vanessa. And then I get connected with Marisa, and here I am talking to you on live, thank you, Own It Magazine. Thank you for your platform. Here we are, and just meet so many amazing women and just people, period, on this journey. And I'm very, very, I'm full of gratitude all the time, So
it's such a blessing.
It is. Yes. As when you say yes to yourself.
That part. Stop being scared, because I was always the one in the back. Like, you know what? I think that's why I got into HR, because I could kind of just be there and just kind of be in the background running things here and there, and that kind of just really set me there, though. When I started public speaking, I just recently in September, did the leadership experience tour with Sean Fair. And that experience right there was life.
You were there? You spoke with Sean?
Oh my gosh, amazing experience. That team right there, they changed everything about my speaking, because in my head, as I'm thinking, about speaking on a stage, I'm thinking about it in terms of an HR person. When you get on stage, you're basically on stage telling people about policies and procedures, and they just sitting here looking at you like that. Can she just get off the stage? Just get up. Shut up. I mean, and that, so I always kind of 15 years of being in that type of environment. Yes, you had some gratitude from people that, got good jobs and things like that, but you were always that bad guy. You were always the person that when they saw you, they were wondering, oh, who's getting fired next? Stuff like that. So it really put me in a place of kind of fear of even coming out in front of people. So now it's like, you're out here on these podcasts, and if you met me 3 years ago, you would not have ever been able to get me up.
Right. You're like, I'm not the person.
I'm like, no, I'll run the back. You want me to run the ticker across for you? I'll do that for you. I'm not getting on the speed.
No, Tiffany. Yes. Wow. I love it. You have an amazing story. Yes, you really do. Oh my gosh, we could probably go on for another 2 or 3 hours. I think because you and Marisa, both of y'all energy is whoo.
And she always says I got more energy than she does, and I say she got more than I do because really, when I'm with Marisa, it's like my energy goes up. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I feel like I'm trying to raise up to be with where she's at.
Right.
So she just don't know the kind of energy that she emits out there because she really does.
Yes, and she really cares. She does. And
Yes,
she really wants
yes,
to see us succeed, you
that's
know.
right.
So
Yeah.
I definitely want to be attached to that. Want that to be a part of my life. That type of energy and
Yeah.
belief, you know. So oh gosh, this is an amazing conversation.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
much.
Thank you so much for having
Thank
me. This has
you.
been, yes, this has been so much fun, and
Yes. So
I'm
before we
very
go,
excited to spend my Friday afternoon.
yes. Before we go, just can you give us like one word of thought, a quote or anything?
Really, I just want to say when you start to doubt yourself, when you start to give up, just remember why you started. Remember your why. Dig back to that because that's always going to keep you on point.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. Simple and sweet. I love it. I love it. Thank you again. Thank
Thank
you so
you so
much for
much.
coming on Snails with No Shells. And I know we're gonna see each other. We're
Yeah,
connected now from here on out. So
that's right.
yeah. So before we go, I would like to first say, please, people, beautiful ones, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you. We need to get some more views, get some more likes, some thumbs up going on, so at least so everybody can get to know these beautiful people. There are really people doing things out here to try to help others change their lives. And we need to see more of that. We're gonna make sure that you see more of that. But you need to like, share, and subscribe. Help us out so that we can do that. Also, my word for my statement or my quote will be, remember, just like the sun, you are necessary. I love y'all.